You vote for a platform and then you hold them accountable to recall if they don't actually enact.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. What the vote does is that it does some kind of political currency that the party can expend to enact some change in the law or the constitution. And it is it is some kind of GitHub system where the law is open to be modified, but only if you have the credits to pay for the modification.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, imagine if you have every law, every constitution article written if in an informatical system, in a computer system, and to change some kind, to change an article of the law, you have to pay some kind of political credit, and that political credit you get from the number of people that vote for your platform on the elections.
I see. So it's like CC, and so the amount of bills
So
you
then
can,
the
the amount of bills
yeah,
and laws you can expand into depends upon the CC capital given to you by your
exactly,
people.
by the people
But how
that
do you
vote for you.
weight the expenditure of each of these bills? How do you count the value of each of these laws that are passed?
By the use of these laws.
Okay, that's
If a law is used frequently in juridical decision, that means that the law is important. So it needs more capital than a law that hasn't been
But how
used
do you
in
do
the
that?
last
How do
hundred
you
of
do that?
years.
How do you do that in a forward way? I mean, it's after the law
By
is enacted, you can
monitoring, but
see.
no, 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 because that is the price to pay to change the laws that are already in place.
What if there's no law in place for this thing?
Usually, when there is no, in our current system, when there is no law in place, it means that there should not be a law in place. If you look at our current democracy system,
Really?
eh, no, seriously,
That sounds
just
like the
think about
complete
it.
opposite of my understanding of Europe. Because I mean, if there's one thing
No,
that it seems, it's that there are laws that are put in place all the time to restrict something, possibly for
no,
good
the laws.
social use, but there was no previous stance on an issue. I mean, actually, almost by necessity of the furthering of complexity of society, almost all laws are created either as countering to previous laws or new ones. It's very rare for simplicity in laws to take place in our
Yes,
society.
that's why most of laws in our society are bullshit.
Well, I'll agree with that.
Most of
I don't know the context
seriously,
here, but I'll agree with that statement.
I mean,
Well,
seriously, most of the law making that is, I mean, really the law making in the sense of new laws that don't touch something that isn't already existing are usually not needed. Everything that was morally thought by humankind is usually already in the law in
I
some
I don't
manner.
I don't know if
It is a
if
matter of interpretation. It is a
interpret
matter of
okay, it's
interpretation.
interpretation. Yeah, it's a matter of interpretation. But the problem is that
But
if you perform an action and there's no law against performing that action, then I mean, it's gonna happen.
but can you think about an action that isn't covered by some kind of law?
I can think of many actions that are and aren't.
Go ahead,
I can
pull
think of an
one.
action that's not covered by a law. Oh,
Go ahead, go ahead, pull one.
no, I'm not going to say it.
Wait, one that
Because
I think
I
should be?
personally cannot think of an action that isn't in. I agree, it is in my opinion, so it may not be in the opinion of the law, but in my opinion, all actions are currently covered by laws.
Well, at this point in time, pretty much all are, or the ones that should be anyway.
Because I don't know, going and stealing property is covered. Going and copying property is covered.
Well, the
I
thing
don't.
is actually
I
it's
cannot
it.
think of
Well,
something
the
that
problem is
isn't
okay. So
covered by
let's
some
let's
kind of
let's let
law.
me clarify this. I agree in principle, but the thing is okay. If you say something like stealing property, the question is what's your definition of property? And so if one could argue that hey,
Physical
the
property.
well, physical property. Okay, so there you go. So there's people that have enacted intellectual property laws because
Not
they
in
found
Europe.
that yeah,
There is
there
no intellectual property in Europe because there should not be intellectual property.
I would assume I don't live in Europe and I'm no expert, but maybe someone in Europe can verify this. It sounds quite weird to me that there's no intellectual property laws in Europe. I find that highly unlikely.
There is no copyright. At least there is
If there was no
property
intellectual
on.
property laws in Europe, then
Wait a second.
why would people who are hosting torrent sites in Sweden or wherever they are be arrested if there's no such thing as intellectual property laws?
Because of lobbying. Because if you are aware, as far as the actual proceedings of the law has gone far, there hasn't been anybody indicted or condemned for intellectual property stealing unless it was for contractual properties with the United States that were supervised under their law.
I find this hard to believe.
It is a trade agreement issue more than an European law issue.
Can someone from Europe chime in on this? Because I find this hard to
I'm
believe.
from non-continental Europe. What was the question?
Are there intellectual property laws, and have people been indicted on these intellectual property laws for anything that was completely isolated from its relation to U.S. property?
I have no idea.
Completely isolated from US property? No, not my knowledge.
I mean, obviously, almost everything's international these days. It would have to be a completely
Yes,
local case.
that is the main issue. It is that most of the actors of the intellectual entertainment scene have ties to the United States, who has a strong intellectual properties laws. So by treating down the laws, you get to something. Basically, you cannot get forbidden to be broadcasted in the United States if you want to succeed.
Hmm.
Still plotting those routes to the core.
Yeah, every single jump plotting one, but at least I get a constant pace as opposed to the 30 minutes of pausing because I can't find a route.
So yeah, I think that one jump route is the way to go when you are near the core.
I don't think that's how they do it because I saw the guy what his average pace was, and I think that even if you were really fast on the map, that's not what you do. I think they have some method that they've refined, and they know because they've done it long enough that there's a certain jump
Some guy
distance you
posted
need.
a thing on the
Yeah,
Twitter.
and I read it, and I was using it
So-
actually after the
so
first
if I can
30
just quickly
minutes.
fit a word in,
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, excuse me for interrupting, but as much as I'm enjoying everybody's company, and thank you for having me, I'm going to drop back over to the Canon Discord now.
Okay, have a good night.
Thank you
Thanks for
very much
joining.
for having me.
Quick question: what is the Canon Discord?
The Discord for, well, Canon. If
Yeah,
you'd
but
like to
he
invite-
meant the link probably.
if you want
I
the-
mean,
the
I
link,
am already in a Discord for Elite Dangerous. Is the one that is in the Reddit.
this is
Yeah.
Specifically for Canon Interstellar. We are a neutral and open scientific group dedicated to studying barnacles, artifacts, probes, you name it.
Oh, okay. So sorry, I am not that interested in the topic.
Say again?
I am not that interested. in
He's
the
as interested in that as he is democracy.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
Democracy interests me in its failings.
but if anybody does want me on the link, Oh, if anybody wants a link in Twitch chat, Stephen, I'll provide you that link.
I do have the Discord.
Do you
And
have the new link?
no, send me a PM and I'll take a look at it when
I
I'm
will
done.
do. Oh, there's that damn fly again. Yeah, I will. I will send you the new link as of a couple days ago because the old one seems to have broken.
Well, take some solace in that in 2 days that thing will be dead. The fly.
Yeah. Oh, fucking. Sorry, it's been annoying. But yeah. Thank you for having me. It's been great fun. Thank you, RM. Thank you, Stephen. And tell Vec that I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Very
So by
lively
the way,
debate.
it's nothing personal. Vectron and myself are both extremely endeavoring for complete accuracy in understanding.
Oh no, I've completely enjoyed it. I've
Okay.
had great fun tonight.
Okay.
Same here.
But yeah, thank you for having me once again, and I'm glad I was able to help. Now,
Yep.
you guys have a good sort of day, evening, morning, whatever time it is where you are.
Morning around here.
I guess it's
Yeah,
evening
morning
now.
here too. But bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hey, quick question, Stephen. Have
Yeah.
you watched an anime called Legend of the Galactic Heroes?
Nope.
It's a pretty great anime,
Okay.
and it's very interesting in the elite lore because it is an anime that has also a democratic federation, an autocratic empire, and a trading alliance. It has the same three components and their interactions. And sometimes when I see how the lore of Elite goes, I there is a lot of times where I just think, oh my god, it's just like Legend of Galactic
Well, it
Heroes.
does seem like those. I mean, it represents pretty much. I mean, maybe there's more subtlety than this, but the sort of a three ways in which you can believe in government structure. Like a really top-down, strong, but democratically elected government, a more loose confederation of individual, local, tribal kind of structure, or a dictatorship slash feudal sort of society.
Yes, but that's a strange thing because I have figured that the real democracy in Elite was the Federation. The Alliance didn't seem to me very democratic at all.
Well, they're quite democratic. I mean, at least at the high level. The fact is, it seems, and certainly if the game's to be believed as lore, that locally they're allowed to have different local forms of governments, but at the alliance level, it's completely democratic.
Yes, but what if at the local level some of the Alliance members implement slavery or
Yeah, so I
totalitarianism?
think there's some minimal standards by which alliance member states have to abide, and I'm pretty sure that slavery, I'm no lore expert, but I'm pretty sure that slavery is not allowed by any of the member states. But there is a very minimal code of ethics that
Okay,
the
but
alliance
even
members
if
have to obey.
slavery is not allowed, what if some kind of slave wage is allowed?
Yeah, well, I mean, I would point you to the statement made by Edmund Mahone, and unless he's a hypocrite, he has this statement saying the Federation decries imperial slavery, but then allows for slave wages to be paid to its citizens. So if he's saying that statement with any meaning, then I think there is some sort of, I don't know,
Because
guaranteed
if
minimal
we look
income
at
or
our
guaranteed.
current society, be it in America or in Europe, we both have that kind of situations where people may not be slaves, but they still need to work in order to feed them and
Well, I mean, that's
to
pretty much
pay.
everyone.
Yeah, and so that's a big question actually. Is as long as you don't have a providence government, it's kind of a moot point to think about a big democratic way.
Well, sorry, I didn't understand what you said there.
Um, I was kind of meaning as long as you don't have providence government. I don't know if you
Like you
understand
mean
that
like a
part.
divine government?
Yeah,
You mean like one that's
no, no, not like divine. More like Bernie Sanders kind of government,
Provincial?
where you have minimal wage,